I'm harping on I like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It felt like in this movie, the way it was written, Peter Parker is way too eager to take on the like biggest bad guys
Oh, yeah.
on the planet rather than being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, in the comics, Peter Parker doesn't have a choice. So here's a big deal.
I mean, he is a high schooler.
So in the comics, all the comics, there's a saying with great power comes great responsibility. And so with the thing with Spider-Man, and this is something that I forget where I read this, but Peter Parker, Spider-Man is Daffy Duck, and Daredevil is Bugs Bunny. So the idea is that Bugs Bunny, he gets out of messes and he's super cool about it, and no one ever cares, and he's like super fun. But we like to see Daffy Duck get beat up, and so we love seeing Peter Parker, Spider-Man getting beat up, barely making it, barely surviving. And so in the comics, like Peter Parker doesn't have a choice. Like he is in a situation where he has to fight this guy because like if he doesn't, people are going to die. But in the movie kind of said, let's do something a little different. Let's try to make it so Peter Parker is trying to go over his skis and see what happens. And I think it works for the most part. But I mean, the thing is, Adrian Toomes isn't trying to murder anyone, and he's a thief. Like at the end of the day, he's not really doing anything to hurt. He is selling weapons that's on the streets that people don't need to have. I get that. But at the end of the day, in the real world, people are doing that all the time, and we don't go out and beat them up and web them up to a pole. Hey, NRA. Like we don't, we're not doing that, and so like this,
and it was a good analog to Tony Stark.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, that's actually a really good point. That's actually a really good point. The two Adrian Toomes and Tony Stark do feed off each other. I would have loved to see a fight between those two guys. By the way, that would have been fun. But
I would not.
Okay. But
not in a Spider-Man movie.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's true. There is
in another movie.
There is a scene where Spider-Man and Tony and Iron Man are flying through New York together. I don't know where that scene is from. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, here you go. So in the comics, Peter Parker would be swinging through New York, and then all of a sudden a building would explode, and then like the Vulture is flying away, and like Spider-Man has to stop the building from collapsing, and he has to go after Toomes. Because he murdered someone. But here, like, Peter Parker's kind of being nosy, So it's like, but he does at the end of the day. I think who knows what would have happened if Adrian Toomes would have gotten all of Iron Man's armor